Hey guys, so just really quick, important news today. So Trump unfortunately bombed Iran. So we don't know if this is gonna cause a whole war. So Trump is basically now initiating war potentially without congressional approval. There are certain times when technically the president can target the country. Those times is when a country attacks the US first. And then you don't really need congressional approval because it's an emergency situation. This case is not an emergency. Trump decided to do this without informing Congress, and many Congress members, including some Republican members of Congress, are in shock and was not expecting this. So this is already from 20 hours ago. So it was, I think it happened really late in June 21st, very late in June 21st, 2025. Right here, 7:50 p.m. is when June 21st, 2025, 7:50 p.m. is when Donald Trump said this. We have completed a very successful attack on the three nuclear sites in Iran. These are three sites, including, I don't know how to pronounce any of these, but I'll try. Fordo, Natanzi, and Esfahan. Sorry for the mispronunciations. All planes are now outside of Iran airspace. A full payload of bombs was dropped on the primary site. Fordo, all planes are safely on their way home. Congratulations to our great American warriors. There is not another military in the world that could have done this. Now is the time for peace. Thank you for your attention on this matter. So Trump basically is going to claim that those were nuclear facilities to utilize uranium that Iran supposed to collect enough of it to create nuclear weapons. The problem is that Iran never really had direct evidence of nuclear weapons. There have been talks that Iran they have nuclear weapons, but there's no evidence. So Trump is just claimed that he's being proactive to do this. Of course, Israel is really excited for this. They're very happy. Netanyahu is extremely happy about this. And I'll react to video his really soon. But I just want to let you guys know what has happened. I'm sure most of you probably already know by now. It would be hard not to, but just in case I'm sharing information, I'm gonna react to now a video that Bunny posted 6 hours ago, the moment that he learned about Trump's unconstitutional attack on Iran. So let's see. Let me make this full screen. This is a statement from Donald Trump. Quote. So this is during organized meeting about fighting the oligarchy. So the oligarchs, which basically took over the government completely. At this point, Trump is basically filling up his entire administration with rich people. So it already happened, and it's been happening for a while, but much more extreme at this point. So that was the meeting they had. We have completed our very successful. So Bunny's just gonna say the code that I just mentioned earlier. Attack on the three nuclear sites in Iran, etc. I agree, no more war, but unfortunately, the U.S. is still filled with the whole conqueror mentality. We still have a lot of colonizing the U.S. government, and wars always happen, unfortunately. Heavily influenced by the U.S. or directly caused by the U.S. Sad, right? We could have had Bernie back in 2016, in 2020, but in the end, we never got a natural progressive president, pretty much. The last one that was probably more progressive was maybe JFK, and he was assassinated. It's really typical situation. And I want to tell you something. Not only is this news that I've just heard the second alarming that all of you have just heard, but it is so grossly unconstitutional. All of you know. Yeah, doing this without even asking Congress approval, it's the problem. Like with Trump, when he does ice raids, when he does these things, the big issue that Trump doesn't get, why people get so angry at him, he doesn't follow correct procedures. If he just followed the due process for all those immigrants that he's detaining with ICE and arresting them, basically kidnapping them, because a lot of times they're also citizens. It's been happening a lot lately, just to specifically non-white citizens. People get pissed off because there's no due process. ICE raids keep happening with no warrants, then nothing happened. Then this situation too. If Trump just talk and have a whole meeting with Congress and they at least approved it, at least we can say it was not just fully on Trump. It's also Congress' responsibility because they approved that. This is not the case. Trump just does whatever he wants without inform anyone. He tells what they want to do, which is they just follow his order like dogs, not even question it at all. And this happens. People are pissed off because it doesn't follow the procedures. If he did things like how Obama did with ICE raids, people complain less. Obama was more efficient at it. Same thing with Biden because they don't do the crap that Trump does, and they don't waste so much resources by making people who are legally here now they're not legal anymore by taking away their legal status, like TPS, temporary protected status. Now this whole war thing, I'm not saying all the presidents didn't do these things. It's just that Trump is doing it in a way that's getting involved directly in a war that we already know is basically happening between Israel and Iran. Why? Why now create a problem? Now he had to make the military really be aware of what the hell to do, and the people who are in those bases now have to prep for things that wouldn't have to if maybe Trump tried to de-escalate instead of just initiating an official war. You could jump in, talk to the leaders of Israel and Iran, and try to stop it. If maybe Iran still did something to Israel or still did something to a U.S. military base, then I'd be like, okay, this is an emergency. If only if Iran targeted a specific military U.S. base, a U.S. military base, then I want to send Trump calling this an emergency. That didn't happen. Just because they're targeting Israel, that's still not the U.S. directly. As a leader, Trump should thought, let me see if I can get Congress involved and bring J.D. Vance with me, my general, maybe one of my generals from the military, and let's talk to Iran and Israel together. That would be better than I just gonna bomb them. That's it. No question asked. Not gonna ask for approval. Forget about it. See if Congress will stop me. That's an issue.
That the only entity that can take this country to war is the U.S. Congress. The president does not have the right.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't see anything happening to Trump. I've been shocked if enough Republicans in the House and the Senate join forces to impeach him. Because remember, they had to do the same thing to J.D. Vance and his entire administration. If they only get rid of Trump, J.D. Vance will probably do even more in a way than Trump potentially. Maybe with more careful planning than Trump, but I wouldn't be surprised if he just follow course. And that's the issue too. There's a video with Netanyahu praising Trump striking Iran, which is a big issue. This is from 17 hours ago. So let's watch.
Congratulations, President Trump.
Keep in mind that he's also a fascist like Trump, want to be dictator. It's a whole other issue as well.
Your bold decision to target Iran's nuclear facilities with the awesome and righteous might of the United States will change history. In Operation Rising Lion, Israel has done truly amazing things. But in tonight's action against Iran's nuclear facilities, America has been truly unsurpassed.
Keep in mind that Netanyahu's also claimed that for years, if not really, I think this point decades, kept claiming that Iran would have weapons of mass destruction, nuclear weapons, all the BS. Where's the evidence? Just because they have nuclear facilities doesn't mean they were necessarily building a nuclear weapon immediately now. How come U.S., Israel, Russia, North Korea, etc., are allowed to have nuclear weapons, right? These powerhouses can, of nations can have nuclear weapons, but other countries cannot. So it's okay for U.S. to keep the nuclear weapons, and Israel and Russia and North Korea, etc., but prevent Iran from having their own. That's the hypocrisy is too much, right? And that's the thing I don't like. If you're gonna say no nuclear weapons, then you should also not have nuclear weapons. right? India has nuclear weapons too. We can keep going with this situation where the multiple countries that have nuclear weapons. Why specifically targeting Middle Eastern countries or African nations? I don't like that. If you're gonna do that to those nations, you should do it to yourself. Use yourself as an example why we should not have nuclear weapons. I agree. Nobody should have nuclear weapons. I don't think U.S. should have any, or Israel, or Russia, India, North Korea, and on and on. I think that's all wrong.
It has done what no other country on earth could do. History will record that President Trump acted to deny the world's most dangerous regime the world's most dangerous weapons. His leadership today has created a pivot of history that can help lead the Middle East and beyond to a future of prosperity and peace.
How are you supposed to lead to prosperity and peace, right? To Middle East when you're telling them, "Hey, I'm gonna bring you peace by bombing you." Yeah, I understand it was nuclear facilities, but how is that bringing peace? If we have peace talk between with both the leaders of Israel and Iran together in that room, yes, that would be a way to do it. That would be the appropriate matter of action. Not I just gonna bomb them, no congressional approval. You're gonna do whatever I want. You guys gonna learn that I did this via, my Twitter message. I'm gonna post it in True Social, whatever. Why do that? That's horrible. If this was emergency, if Iran targeted the U.S. first, like targeted the U.S. military base, I'd be more understanding. But there was no reason for U.S. to do that. You can argue it's being proactive, but I don't agree with the action. That's not what leaders should do. That's what fascists does.
President Trump and I often say, peace through strength. First comes strength, then comes peace. And tonight, President Trump and the United States.
How can you talk about peace and all that when Israel is bombing Gaza, killing hundreds of, at this point, what, tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, Palestinians, mostly women and children who are not soldiers, not fighting the war? Doesn't make sense. You can claim it's Hamas situation, but you're killing a bunch of innocent people. It's not like you bring them to Israel, providing them, safety, roof over their head, make sure that no Israelis will target them. No, they're just bombing them, displacing them from their homes. And you talk about peace in the Middle East. Doesn't make sense.
Acted with a lot of strength. President Trump, I thank you. The people of Israel thank you. The forces of civilization thank you. God bless America. God bless Israel. And may God bless our unshakable alliance, our unbreakable faith.
Yeah, this is a problem. Now they try to use their religious beliefs in God and all the BS to claim this is all, you know, let's thank God for all this. That's what a lot of religious people do. Where they try to claim that all good things happen because of their belief and this is just good for us, this is more of a new blessing for us. Even though they're killing a bunch of people, committing genocide of Palestinians, but that's great and with the assistance of the US, who agrees with the genocide. Very sad situation.
Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, just a short time ago. I want to go right back to the White House. Chief White House.
Yeah, we gotta keep in mind that Netanyahu is still a fascist. Israel has some amazing scientists. They produce a lot of good scientific research. They have nuclear weapons. They have a good military, strong one. But I don't see the reason besides trying to conquer Gaza for killing a bunch of Palestinians. I understand Hamas, but you're killing a bunch of people for no reason besides taking over the territory. It's like what Russia's doing with Ukraine right now for the last, 3 years? It's the same shit. And now US is targeting Iran. Yes, I know they target Israel, but they didn't target any US military base and nothing directing the US. Why do this now? Why create initiate a potential war? Iran might not do anything because they really will not win. If they really try to target US, this could be the end of Iran, like literally the end of the complete country. Where US would probably use nuclear weapons if they do anything here. With Trump in power, I'm expecting this. So Iran has to be careful. I know it's a horrible situation, but you gotta keep in mind that US plus Israel can use nuclear weapons. They can completely empty that nation if needed. They will figure out a way to use the territory some other time. They won't really care. And plus, you don't need nuclear weapons. US alone has more than enough missiles, other type of weapons that are not nuclear based that can destroy the entire country of Iran easily overnight if they really want to. It's unfortunate, but one thing US is really good at is destroying things, not building things, not improving the lives of American citizens, make things more affordable, and make sure you have a single family home and universal health care and universal free lunch for children. We don't have that, but bombing people, we're extremely good at that, unfortunately.
Correspondent Peter Alexander is standing by. Peter, good evening. You have new reporting on what we can expect to hear from the president. Just I think we should note, as you were just listening to Prime Minister Bibi Netanyahu there speaking from Israel. It's still before dawn in that country, but we do know that President Trump and Netanyahu spoke several times over the course of the last several days, including a conversation they had after the U.S. dropped those bunker busting bombs on Iran over. We thank you for watching, and remember, stay updated on.
Yeah, so obviously that's really bad. Now we have a whole issue with this situation. I don't know what's gonna happen. People been asking me, and my mom has, and my wife also. All I can say, I don't know. Honestly, this could trigger a war. I don't know if that means a World War III, but this already happened in the past several times before, and we didn't have like a whole World War III again. But don't expect the US not to be necessarily in a full-on war. This is basically asking for a war between the US and Iran. It's not just going to be Israel and Iran. You can say Israel, Iran, and US. So it could be a whole initiating. And the whole things that happen, so many things happen in the US that with the whole military being sent in Los Angeles and Trump doing the same thing in all the states potentially, it could cause a civil war here, for all we know. I'm just saying we're really at a breaking point at this point, and there are plenty of Republicans right now who are not in agreement completely in Congress. So it could bring either impeachment could be a way to potentially stop a civil war from happening. But if you don't get rid of the entire Trump administration, you just it's good to get rid of Trump, which we need to. But having JD Vance take over, or you get rid of JD Vance and Mike Johnson in the House Speaker, it's not gonna resolve the issue. You're gonna need someone like Bernie Sanders to really be the leader to reduce the stress. AOC, you need people like that. Otherwise, you're just gonna have more warmongers like Trump, JD Vance, Mike Johnson, Steve Miller, etc. We're gonna just keep going with the cycle of bunch of disasters. But let me know what you guys think about this whole situation. It's not funny. It's very stressful, but it's hard to know how to react to this right now. Let me know what you guys think may happen. Maybe we can talk about it. Maybe you guys know more than me, especially people who work in the military. I would like to know your thoughts if you want to discuss at all. I know you probably won't be able to say anything because it's probably classified, but maybe you can give any potential nothing that's not necessarily classified info that's okay to say that Trump hasn't said yet. That would be great. So maybe we don't have to be super worried that Iran may retaliate by bombing random city like New York City or Chicago. We don't know. If they bomb somewhere, should be a U.S. military base, but they may go further than that, right? I would think it'd be a U.S. military base, but I can't send the anger. And who knows what they would do? Could be a terrorist attack. Not saying they would do that, but let me know what you guys think about this entire situation. If you like the video, like and subscribe. If you watch this on TikTok, follow us on TikTok. And like I said before, have a Patreon. It's $1 to just really support us per month. And I will be eventually making exclusive content for the $3 tier. All right, guys, have a safe day.